have Jason Simon from 5S Technologies. We'll say I've had a chance. He's a Navy pilot, and I've had a chance to spend the last few days with Jason in New York with the program that we're doing with Bunker Labs, and learn a lot more about this company. I think you'll be pretty excited to hear. It's pretty eye-opening about how they're trying to change a technology that I didn't even know was broken. So I'll turn it over to you, Jason. You can tell everybody more.
Jake, I appreciate the introduction. Good afternoon, and good afternoon to everybody watching. I'd like everybody to imagine for a moment that their job requires them to travel greater than 50% of the year. And that somebody in your company is scheduling that travel, not based on when you can travel, but based on when the company needs you to travel. This necessarily means you're probably going to miss out on some important family events, things you want to be home for. You can request to not travel during those periods, but short of putting in for vacation time or sick leave, you'll most likely be on the road. Now, even when those times do marry up, you have the opportunity to potentially be back home for that event. There's a high likelihood once you get to the airport, as soon as you start the first leg of your journey, you're going to receive a call from work. Your schedule's been changed, you've been extended, and you're going to miss that important event again, another year. Now, the company understands that this impacts your quality of life negatively. And so they wrote a contract that you signed stating that when these things happen, they'll compensate you for your time. But here's the catch. It requires you understanding the legalese of the contract. You have to also know that the schedule change was an infringement on the contract, and then you're required to contact the company to let them know that the contract was infringed upon and you're owed compensation, because their systems don't actually track that automatically. Welcome to the world of being an airline pilot, where tens of thousands of pilots in the United States go through this every day. A majority of the pilots don't understand the legalese in the contract that's signed on their behalf by the union. Further, they don't necessarily understand when the contract's been infringed upon, and even when they figure it out, they're required to call and leave a voicemail with the company or send an email to the union. This is where ACE comes in. ACE is a mobile and web-based application that identifies, validates, and communicates these contract infringements to the union and to the pilot. We ingest the pilot working agreement, which is their contract, union data, and open source Bureau of Transportation data. Combine that with our algorithms, we can automatically detect when these violations and infringements occur, report them to the union. We enable the pilots to succinctly and effectively communicate with the union and generate their own reports. We attach all of the relevant documentation and supporting documents for the union staff and volunteers, and provide a single click of the button to submit these reports and translate those reports into the company's preferred data method. ACE, mobile app, and web app talk together effectively and efficiently. We've brought voicemail and email into the 21st century. Pilots can track how many reports are generated, how much compensation has been paid out, and they can effectively communicate this to the union, and staff have an intuitive and easy to use web-based application to compile all of the supporting documents and send those to the airlines. While there are other programs out there that pilot unions utilize for this, most often than not, they are either outsourced overseas for a single build that's only a web application or only a mobile application, or they're built by airline pilots themselves who are IT hobbyists, not professionals. Delta Airlines brought us on several years ago because they saw the value in data analytics, ingesting big data, and turning that into something that pilots could utilize. And as a result, we've helped increase pay recovery efficiency for the Delta pilots using union by 21%. We've increased the amount of money they recover for pilots from $3 million a year to $10 million a year. And in the last 2 years of operations, we've recovered over $20 million for pilots at Delta. Not only that, but our data analytics helped the Delta Pilots Union negotiate a $7 billion pay increase over 4 years for the pilots. It seems kind of crazy that the airlines don't have the same resources at their disposal, but the data is too large and they don't understand it. So our business model is a business-to-business subscription-based model. And with 16,500 pilots at Delta, we're looking to generate $1.6 million in revenue this year. We're not just a pilot-based program. We can also do this for flight attendants. So you took the big three airlines, top three airlines in the United States, and combine them together with pilots and flight attendants, that's 122,000 subscribers each year. Now, I mentioned that the Delta Pilots Union has brought us on board, but what's interesting is Delta Airlines themselves has contacted us, and we're about to release a 3-month project with them where they will have the web-based platform in order to generate more efficiency and more effectiveness in paying the pilots based on these contract issues. And so if we take a look at pilots and flight attendants across the board, the entire addressable market, and we look at the unions and the airlines as a customer base, we're looking to bring in $21 million in revenue with the US airline industry. Now, why would the airlines want to outsource all of this? Certainly, they're big platforms. They can pay for this themselves. And it's true. Last year, they spent $37 billion upgrading their IT and their data sources because they themselves have run into issues. But a majority of that money is being spent on customers and the operations side of the airlines. Very little is being spent on the employee-facing side of the house. In fact, one airline is only upgrading phone lines and adding more phone lines for pilots to call. It seems kind of silly. United Airlines CEO Scott Kirby said in an address to his employees that he wants an employee-facing app that's on par, if not better than, their customer-facing product to increase communication efficiency and effectiveness and help pilots and flight attendants understand where they need to go on a daily basis. We have that product now. ACE isn't just a recovery tool for pay. We can also more effectively generate schedules. We can communicate efficiently with crew, and we can provide the data analytics airlines need to help improve efficiency and reduce cost. So we're looking to generate a capital raise of $600,000 starting at the end of January for a 5% equity in 5S technology. This capital raise, in conjunction with the contract renewal in April, will help us scale our personnel and scale our cloud architecture to complete our enterprisable software and bring it to the next 2 airlines in 2024. At 5S Technology, we're looking to empower every worker, and it's not just in the airline industry. We're looking for investors who are willing to join us, help empower workers in every industry in the United States and globally. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.